gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. They don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. How are ya?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm good.
Hey,
Getting cold
Weezy.
here.
Hi, Stevie. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
You guys are dorks. All right. We got a little snow here today. It's about 20 degrees lately around here. Our lake is frozen over, and one of the neighbor boys told me the other day we got about 6 to 7 inches of ice all the way around. So we might be flying our little paramotors from the airport back to the house for the winter.
Oh.
So we got a nice little runway in our backyard again.
That sounds neat.
Yeah, now we just got to wait for some nice laminar beach winds for us, like we were talking about. So everybody's good?
Doing very well.
Steve, you're doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Vacation?
Yeah.
Looks pretty awesome.
does.
Quickly want to say thank you for everyone joining. Scott Starbeck, sorry. I'm trying something new. I got this idea from Scuba Steve, and I tried doing Nightbot, and apparently Nightbot doesn't like Scott. But anyway, welcome, Scott. Just ignore my Nightbot. Linda, Angela, and Justin, and let's see, Wendy the Explorer's in here, Bill H, Linda, Travis DuPont, Tori Pope is in here. Welcome, and he's going to be a guest someday.
Angela's
Someday we got him scheduled. I'm excited to see that beard. Yeah.
Ben, Paramotor NC, welcome, sir. Nice to see you in here. And my Nightbot, and let's see. It's pretty funny picking on MJH PPG. And let's see, anybody else that I missed? I'm sorry if I did miss you, but welcome and thank you for joining. Please hit the thumbs up and help us out. That's awesome. All right. So I did a little arm twisting. He did a little arm twisting, and we got my husband Eric back to come on the show. He's ready to hang out with us. So let's introduce Eric. Well, hello there, husband.
Well, hello, greetings from Wisconsin.
All right, Eric, tell your wife all about you.
Yeah.
Let's ask questions that she doesn't know.
Right?
Wait, let's first talk about our matching shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are
Check
pretty cool.
this out. This is our new logo. I designed it with the help of just the logo portion, but I did the other stuff. And if you go to tomahawktees.com, we just got these in the mail today. I figured I'm designing them. I got a company that's doing the, what did you call it, Eric? The digital.
It's a direct-to-garment print.
Direct-to-garment print. It's pretty nice. So I got another shirt the other day. So check out Tomahawk Tees. It's legit. I think I've got it down now. I'm adjusting some things as I can, and I'm adding more garments. There's even Christmas presents in there. There's undies in there for guys, undies in there for girls, the little paramotor guys. So, all right. So tomahawktees.com. Check it out.
And
So.
if you're not into that, Nirvana. Yeah. Even got a, in case I want to garrote myself, just.
All right. Who wants to go first? And if you get questions, put a Q next to your question.
I have
I
a
want to go
question.
first.
Wendy Weaver got a 5-minute timeout from Nonbot.
Oh, no. We're going to have to get rid of that thing for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Scuba, I need help.
Lord, did she really?
My
All right.
robot's like pissing everybody off.
Oh,
My question for Eric is, after doing paramotoring, what the heck got you into general aviation? Because there's so many of us that lose interest in that after doing PPG.
There is. And I've seen kind of both sides of it. Well, about after the fly-in, I had a family come up to me and wanted to do training. Well, he happened to be a general aviation pilot, and that's his career. And so we started training the whole family. And they were going to EAA Oshkosh, AirVenture. So we were also set up to go to AirVenture. And we ended up hanging out with them a little bit. I've lived in Wisconsin since 98. And I've always been into aviation in one way or the other, either remote control airplanes or, whatever. So when we were at Oshkosh, that place is just totally amazing. And I started looking at planes. I've always wanted to be a pilot, but I could never really find the finances to do it. But talking with Sean, I found out that he was a flight instructor also. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm teaching you to fly paramotor. Would you be interested in teaching me how to fly general aviation? And of course, he said, yes, absolutely. So at that point, I'm thinking, okay, well, I started doing the numbers and figuring out how much it would cost to rent a plane and where we'd have to go to rent a plane. Even though he has a few planes, it would be nothing that I could train on. So I went, and those numbers still were just outrageous. So what's the next best thing? You buy a plane. So he took me around Oshkosh, and we looked at a few things. And of course, I fell in love with everything that I saw, but you have to kind of pick and choose. And I kind of narrowed it down to a few planes. Well, a month goes by, 2 months, and I went, and we know one of the guys that are in our airport group here in town, and he's a little older. And I went up to him and I said, and he has a Cherokee. I went up to him and said, hey, I'm kind of, looking for a plane and also a hangar for the paramotor gear and an airplane. And he happened to say, well, you know what? I'm getting older. I can't fly. My son flies the plane, but I really can't fly. But my son doesn't fly it enough. Well, needless to say, he came out with a absolutely phenomenal price for purchasing the hangar at our airport and purchasing the plane at the same time. So I really couldn't go wrong. And if anybody has been looking at airplanes, they know that the airplanes right now, the market is just so inflated. So this was something that I couldn't pass up. Plus, if down the road, if I ever decide to sell, I'm not going to lose money on it. So that's where that stands. That's kind of how I got into it. But I still do the paramotoring and still absolutely love the paramotoring.
And it seems like maybe I'm just making an assumption here, but just after learning about you this year, you're more the type of personality where you spend a lot of time where you're always wanting to learn about stuff or working on stuff. You're not like, hey, it's 8:00 at night, I'm watching TV and hammering beers and stuff. It just seems like you're always engaged and trying to push and learn and grow or tinker. And so at the end of the day, I asked that first question, but I wasn't surprised either that you actually got a plane. But I was still curious just because so many people, they just lose interest in that when they do this.
Well, you're exactly right. If I do actually sit down at 8:00 and watch TVs, no, I'm not pounding the beers, but I am watching something on YouTube to learn about something.
Right.
So, I mean, and that you nailed it right on the head. That's just, I'm a sponge. I love to learn.
So where are you at on your own training and learning? Are you able to go solo yet?
No. So, I have probably close to 8 hours. So because my flight instructor is a pilot, he's a private or he's a commercial pilot, I guess is what it would be called. He works for a private company. And so he's gone for a week and home for a week. And of course, everything is weather related. And so I went, and I have about 8 hours now, I do believe, logged hours. And I have to get my medical. But we ran into a flaw with that. And what it is so the FAA, there's 4 medications the FAA looks at, and they say we can't give you your medical right now, but you're going to have to meet with a specialist AME, and they can pass you off as getting a medical. And one of those medications I do take. So at first I was a little confused.
But they really do frown upon mescaline. I should have warned you.
They frown upon what?
Mescaline.
You
I
don't
don't
take
know.
that one, Eric. Don't worry
Just
about it.
I
ignore
don't know
him.
what that is. But no, so but at first I was a little upset, but then I realized that it's only for the safety of everybody around, passengers, people on the ground, myself. And so now it's like, I'm good with it, and it's, the thing is it doesn't stop my training. It really does not affect anything, because we still go out and fly. We still, go out and have a lot of fun. So it just doesn't bother me at all. And I will get my medical, and hopefully by next year, this summer, I'll actually get my certificate.
And then after that, you need to get Jade to do the same, so that way she can fly and you can jump out of the plane and skydive.
You've been hanging around with Tim because that's exactly what he wants to do. No, I can't. We can't jump out of the plane. Yeah. So if Jade wants to learn, or at least learn how to fly, learn how to land a plane in case there's a medical issue with me, which would be a good idea, then yeah, absolutely.
Wendy the Explorer wants to know who gave you your first tandem PPG flight, when and where.
My first tandem?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is going to sound kind of crazy. I've never been not the pilot of command in a paramotor. I've never been the front passenger of a tandem, ever.
Ever. Okay.
I never took a tandem before my solo, but I've had a couple fun ones since.
All right. Next question is Bill H wants to know, can you put a paramotor in your plane?
Yeah, so we can load it up. We could probably put 2 foot launch units in there and travel with them, and all the gear, all the wings. So it's a what I have is a Cherokee 180, and we have a little under 1,000 pound payload that we can take. So
Do you prefer trike or foot launch?
Good question. So, well, it's I guess it depends on my mood. If I want to be a little lazy, then the trike is good, but the flight isn't as good. And the way I say that is because it's like going from a Ferrari, something that is very maneuverable, like the foot launch, going to a trike, which is a little more lazy. Everything is slower because you have a little bit more mass and stuff like that. But all this summer I've been foot launching, really enjoying it, knowing that when wintertime comes, we're going to have to go back to the trikes. So I enjoy both. I mean, I really do. And there's a place for both. If you get the opportunity, if you're a foot launcher and you have the opportunity to do a trike, I would definitely do it because it's really fun. So,
Steve, you want that one?
Oh, Angela Preslick wants to know, are you making pilot or paramotor school your full-time job? You don't plan on teaching general aviation pilot training, do you?
No, because I can barely fly it myself. So it'd be a
So
bad scene.
Speaking of which, since you just started, was there anything in experience in it that kind of surprised you, that you thought it would be different? Anything within those 8 hours for you?
Yes. Yes. Flying the plane is the most simplest thing around. It really is. Taking off is you know, it's different, a little challenging. Landing, man, I tell you what, the United States needs to make their runways like 5 times wider for me and like 30 miles long. And if they did that, man, I'd have these things dialed in. But since they don't, I have a lot to learn with the landing part, which is important when you take off. So that part of it is definitely, to me, it's a challenge. But doing all the maneuvers in the air is so much fun. It really is a lot of fun. Now, is there a comparison from like paramotor to general aviation? There's not a lot that kind of rolls over because everything in paramotor is so slow. So, I mean, your general, you know, hey, lift, wing aspect, stuff like that, you know, that is all comparable because you need lift to fly. And when you get to, when you get into the more advanced stuff, as far as the training goes, the general aviation, I mean, there's a lot to learn. So,
do you have any, like, what's your future look like with it? What do you have do you have anything in mind of what you want to do, cross countries or some sightseeing flights, or just dreams that you might have for it?
for general aviation?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would love to get out of anywhere where there's snow in the wintertime. You know, of course, cross countries. It's a total, this plane has been to Florida a few times. So it is totally capable of doing cross country trips. Looking, you know, forward to doing stuff like that. So, but I also look forward to cross country trips in the paramotor.
Can you tell us a little bit about safety with the paramotor? What kind of things do you look for as far as, I guess what I'm saying, tell us a little bit about safety with paramotor.
Yeah. So I guess I was pretty lucky in the school that I picked for paramotor training. So I went to MadCity Paragliding down in Madison, Wisconsin. And he's actually rated one of the top 5 in the United States for safety. His name is Paul Cooley, and he actually is part of the USPPA for, he does a lot of the instruction classes and clinics. He organizes them and designs them to make safe pilots for the instructors. So he always pounded in our head, you know, the safety part of things. He works with us knowing what your wing will do, knowing what your wing can withstand. I mean, just everything. So we got a lot of safety kind of drilled into us as far as that goes. And that's my biggest thing, I think, is safety. And I try to pass that on to my students that I'm training. And everybody says, hey, the ground school is hard, the flying is easy. And I agree. You know, the ground school is hard. We're not going to send you in the air until we know that you have that wing totally under control. You know, when you're in a trike and you have that wing perfectly over you, then we can go to full throttle and take off. And then from there, I'm on comms with my students all the time. So they have my reassurance in their ear, and I can also watch them and glide them all the way back down to a perfect landing. So I think safety is something that really needs to be enforced in the paramotor community. We've all seen, you know, a lot of bad things happen, and we need to try to get that so it's happening less and less.
So Eric, I don't know if you guys know this, but Eric has actually developed a pretty strong reputation in the PPG world for safety. Every one of his students, he's never left up there.
That's exactly right.
Matt Slober wants to know, do you still find time to fly the RCs? And if so, what do you like to fly?
Oh,
We've all noticed, we've all seen your display on the ceiling in your hangar.
yeah. So, yeah, I do have quite a few planes and helicopters and other stuff. No, I haven't been able to. This will tell you how long it's been. Is I'm still, all of those planes that I have are still nitro powered. So the nitromethane motors. Everything is now electric, so I don't have any of the newer technology. Do I still have time? You know what? Once a year, maybe I will pull a plane down, fire it up, and go fly it. It is like riding a bike. It's just you lose a little bit of the agility as far as knowing, on the remote control stuff, when the flare and stuff like that. But you usually have a successful landing. But I try to find time, but I've just been lately it's just been too busy. So,
Yeah, it's kind of like, once you get into paramotoring, you just don't have much time for everything else.
yeah.
Yep. We used to ride motorcycles all the time, and now we got rid of those. We don't have time.
Yeah.
Tori Pope says you need a STOL plane.
Yeah, so I put this up because I actually got into paramotoring following Trent Palmer, who did the short takeoff landing aircraft. I thought that was so cool that some guy just lands on a hill, takes off, and I was like, I never could afford that. And I found paramotoring. But what about that, Eric? Would you ever be interested in getting one of those?
Yes, but as of right now, you got to have a lot of talent, and all those guys that we watched in Oshkosh do the STOL competition, they have a lot of talent, and that's all there is to it. I mean, they have talent, and I would be the guy that would run out of talent, and I don't want to run out of talent.
Yeah, but couldn't you just make it for you? Do you really have to compete? Just go out and land wherever you want. Take Jade on a nice romantic picnic in some meadow.
And blast off into in 30 feet? No.
Yeah.
She says no.
So yeah, I guess. I mean, I just
Let's get him to learn how to fly first, please.
I have
trying to give him ideas.
Right. Oh, I have ideas. I have tons of ideas.
Crazy ideas.
All of them are.
Eric, JP says you're his hero.
Oh, thanks, JB.
You're my hero.
Great guy.
And Wendy, she says, maybe I'll make that my mission. You can be my first passenger once I get my certification. I'm still a ways out, though. Oh, no, Wendy, I'm putting them in with me first, seeing I had to go with him.
I'll do that. I mean, I don't mind. I really, really don't mind taking up new equipment. Deweese, I took up your equipment first to make sure that it was safe. I was the test dummy, and the thing is that if I check that over and it all looks good and the hang tests are there, I'll take it up. I don't have a problem with that. Especially the paramotors that I kind of help put together, because then I know that how it's done.
And it's a good thing you did.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But absolutely, Wendy, I'll be your first crazy guy on the front.
So Mom's asking, what kind of range does the plane have? Will it make it to Arizona by then?
Oh yeah, it'll make it to Arizona. Absolutely.
Next year,
have to make a couple of stops, but for fuel. But yeah, absolutely.
Let's see what else we got on here.
Mad Sloper's asking, do you want to try the electric SB140 PPG on your next trip to Vegas?
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the SP140. I like that technology. I would definitely take you up on that offer. It is a nice looking unit. I looked at it last year when we were out in Vegas, and I thought it was a very well built machine. So
Is that the electric paramotor?
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
JP
JP Tulo. Oh, I'm sorry. Good.
No, you go ahead.
JP Tulo says, did Eric take a class that taught him how to be so cool, or is it just something that comes naturally for him?
So JP, I've been taking that class. I've had to retake it 4 times now. I keep failing, but thanks for rubbing that in. I thought that was a private conversation you and I had. But that's
Go ahead, Louise.
A Paramotor NC says, do you have any goals with general aviation? I won't say that mistake again, i.e. bucket list of trips or just for recreation?
mostly for recreation, but I think my bucket list is to fly out and be able to see my parents and possibly take them for a flight. That would be my bucket list. They live out on the West Coast in Washington State. Other than that, it would be,
Do they have a Wisconsin accent?
No, they just say we have a Wisconsin accent. So, but no, other than that, it would just be basically flying around here, or heading down towards Outer Banks or to Jade's parents in Arizona, stuff like that.
Mississippi,
absolutely. Anywhere that it's warm in the wintertime.
yeah.
Not Pennsylvania.
Okay, and Pennsylvania, but that would be a summertime thing.
I know, that's why I said not during the winter. Sorry, Wendy, Justin.
Well,
Tony's asking,
now Wendy will be in Florida part of that time.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm there.
Tango Marzano is asking, how many seats does the plane hold?
How many seats or how many passengers? So the
Tell us how many people we can stuff in your plane.
We can make that thing look like a clown car with the clowns coming out.
Right.
But legally, we can carry 3 other passengers besides the pilot. So 2 in front, 2 in back.
Nice. Let's see here. Way behind on.
Scuba's asking, so do you like trike or foot launch more? Does the trike feel more restrictive over the foot launch?
Do I like? So I really like foot launch, just for the sportiness. I like the trike because, how do I say this?
You can bundle up in the winter.
You can bundle up in the winter. Trike to me is easier, and it's not the running thing. I mean, but I'm so used to steering with my feet and getting the wing up. I mean, it's just it's almost like it comes natural. But so does the foot launch. But the trike is. We've talked to Scuba, and if we ever get together, I'm gonna get them trained on the trike and let them see what it's like. I mean, it's just it's a totally different experience. One is not better than the other. One is not geared towards older people to younger people. It's just what you prefer. And if you've never flown a trike, it is something you have to do, because trikes are fun. You can come in with your trimmers out fast, land, set back up real quick while you're taxiing, take off like an airplane. So it's nothing that both are fun. You can do touch and goes. If you plan on doing any kind of acro, trike is really not the thing to be doing it in. If you're going to learn acro, do it foot launch and then translate that over to trike because of the weight issues. And it's not a matter of getting the trike over. It's what do you do with all that load when you start coming back around? You have a lot of built up energy that you got to unload. So, but I mean, both are just absolutely fun.
He says he's used to steering with his feet, and it's a real trip when he drives you in his truck and you actually see him driving his truck with his feet too.
Hey, you want to hear something crazy? Okay, so on a trike, if you want to turn left, you push your right foot forward. Okay, and that turns the axle to the left. On a general aviation, if you want to turn right, you push the right pedal. So the first time he has me taking off in a general aviation plane, that's why I said they need to make these runways about 5 times wider, because if I'm paying taxes on that runway, I'm using the whole runway. And trust me, on that first takeoff, I think I used that whole runway.
He's just doing donuts all down it.
He was squawking.
I was left and right, and because it's totally opposite, and I'm so used to the trike. So now I have to kind of rethink everything there.
I think one of your first missions should be, since Jade flies high enough, so she'd probably be safe, but just totally get her with prop wash and knock her out.
No, thanks.
It would be fun to fly next to. I wouldn't be able to slow down that fast, but it would be fun to fly next to paramotors, next to them, not above them, or just to kind of see one close up.
So Linda's asking actually, were you able to get your hearing back after taking her on her tandem in Torchport, Michigan?
Linda, I tell everybody this: you were my favorite passenger. You really were enjoyable, and I think it was because you were so excited. Yeah, don't worry about the hearing. It was already shot a long time ago. That's okay. And I will be back out at Torchport this year, and you are welcome to go for another tandem. It would be a lot of fun.
Eric, I think
how long you might dress, Linda?
Year.
This time you can wear some little earplugs.
Yeah.
Angela Presslick wants to know, how's the Northern Lights school going, and have you had a lot of students?
Yeah, so I only do it part-time. I do it when somebody comes to us and is inquiring about training. So, because we're a new school, it is slow, and we really didn't start doing things until like the middle of summer. And then now we're into winter time, and all of my students are cold. So they're going to wait until next spring. I hope they're watching.
Ooh.
I can rub this in a little bit, but
Eric. Oh, so you also have tentatively three more students when the snow melts.
Yeah. I have a lot of people that are interested right now. The other thing that I do is when I get a referral, so I'll ask where they live, and then I refer them to schools that is closer to them than me, because I don't want somebody to drive all the way up to northern Wisconsin to train if they live down in Madison. If they live in Madison, I want them to go to the school that we went to. I mean, it's only fair to the student. And a lot of times they go, "Oh, I never heard about the school. Tell me about it." And they will go to that school. And it's just a kind of a courtesy that we have. And as I said, I'm not doing this for a living, for the school part of it. So I'm okay with suggesting that they go somewhere else. Now, of course, if they want to definitely come up to us, we will train them. I met somebody out in Oshkosh that actually I went up to them because Jade and I overheard him saying that he wasn't able to fly because in the military he had something going on, and they won't give him his medical. And that's when I suggested to reach out to Resurgence. And I do believe that he has reached out to Resurgence, just has not gotten back. And he's asked me a couple times if I heard anything, and I told him that I really have nothing to do with them. I just would like you to reach out and talk to them and see if there's anything you can do. And I told him if there's nothing that they can do for you, you are more than welcome to come to Tomahawk to learn.
So Tori Pope wants to know, do you do barrel rolls on your trike?
No barrel rolls on the trike.
That leads me into a question from me. So I don't know anything about, say, your flying style or you as a paramotor pilot, because you have something that I don't, and that's called modesty. And so can you tell me a little bit about, like, what's your personal goals still with just flying as a paramotor pilot, skills that you want to gain or dial in, or maybe even just bucket list items you still want to do?
So my flying style, if I'm on foot launch, it'll be a little crazier. I'll do spirals. I enjoy those. I enjoy feeling the G's. I'm not really an acro guy. I don't have, and it doesn't interest me. The biggest thing that I do is when I go and I fly, every time I fly, I'm trying new things on the wing. So I will pull, I will stall my wing and see what it does. Because I need to know this to be a good instructor, to know, what's going on. So I'm constantly learning. And I want to, as I said, make it as safe as possible. So I will go up, I will try different things, within reason that's safe, and just to see what happens. Because a lot of us, if you're not part of the USPPA, we have ratings 1, 2, and 3. And the PPG 3 requires you to do big ears. And I remember my first time I did big ears, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall out of the air. And it was nothing. And then for a while there, I was just doing big ears because I thought it was the coolest thing around. Well, now every now and then I'll do big ears, and it's not a big deal. Just make sure that you're grabbing the right parts when you're pulling for big ears. So don't try to do it on your own. Try to get an instructor or somebody to help you out so they know. But my goals, it's not really my flying style. I put around the air. Love. Okay, that guy's got to go. I love just putting around, doing things. I like going from where we take off. I go into town and cruise up and down the Wisconsin River, come back, and then I enjoy my flight. So
if you've done things where you're up there and you're stalling your wing, have you ever thought about, or do you ever want to attend an SIV clinic just to kind of learn more?
At first I did. I wanted to do something like that. I don't know if they're doing SIV clinics now with motors on your back or not. But all the ones that I have checked into, they do them without the foot launch unit or the a trike or anything like that. So I know a lot of people think that it would be beneficial, but for what I'm doing for my training, I think that it wouldn't benefit me because I will fly in weather and I know I'm safe. I will fly in snow, rain, and I know I'm safe. I think that, don't get me wrong. I'm not going out in a blizzard and I'm not going out in a absolute downpour, but as long as, sorry, I got to plug in my computer. As far as the SIV course, for some people, it would benefit them if they're going to look into doing more acro, but I'm not doing acro like that. where I would get myself into that much trouble. I just do the stuff that I do so I can translate that to students and let them understand. And then what they choose to do after they get their PPG too, that's up to them. But they can at least leave my school being safe.
Whoops, sorry, I just blocked someone else's comment.
That's okay.
Linda Anderson says, Eric, can you talk about the event calendar? So you're the official USPPA event calendar guy now, aren't you?
Yeah, so I do all of the enter in all the fly-ins for the USPPA, and I know why Linda wanted it, because I didn't have any pictures of Torchport. So if you go onto the usppa.org website, go to the events, you will see Linda Anderson standing in front of the Torchport sign, and her daughter-in-law took the picture.
You're putting me on that, right?
We got to find you a fly-in.
I've got one, but the name of it is not appropriate for this show.
We got to find yourself an appropriate fly-in.
Saying hi to Ben.
Hey, Ben. So, but yeah, that's why Linda was saying that.
Tony wants to know if you will be given rides in your plane the next time you're at a fly-in.
So, planes at a fly-in. Yeah, the only fly-in I think that I would actually take a plane to would be Hodges Field or Moonshiners, because they have actual runways. The other fly-ins that we go to, I wouldn't be interested in doing that. It's a safety issue. So Hodges and Moonshiners was very organized as far as when they had general aviation coming in and out. But as far as any of the other ones, it wouldn't be a safe thing to have a general aviation plane there.
Scuba's funny. Scuba, the picture behind him, those people are all on the ground, dude.
So if you guys don't know Scuba, he watches, go onto his YouTube show on Friday nights.
Scuba's Hangout.
Scuba's Hangout. Unless he has broken ribs, then it's Saturday.
And that's funny.
We were talking about flying at Bad Apples with the 200 registered pilots they have. It is so well organized. The Bad Apples team does such a good job patrolling the air. And once you get up, you're fine. You are so good. Don't let that panic you. The only thing that'll get you is it'll get in your head that you think everybody is watching you. And it's not everybody that's watching you. It's somebody's taking a nap. So everybody but one. But yeah, just if you go there, go to fly. Go see their sites. It's just a bunch of fields. But you're safe. And then when you're coming down to land, they stop everybody from taking off. And you have the whole runway to yourself.
Tim wants to know if you've done a stall where your wing falls behind you.
Tim, we've talked about this before. Yes, I've had that happen. So, and then it flies in front of you and you got to stop it. So.
Hope wants to know, have you ever thrown a reserve?
No, I have not.
Have you ever put back a steel reserve?
A steel reserve?
Yeah, don't do it.
No, I've had to reinsert a handle on a reserve on somebody's trike that she caught it during her pre-flight. So, but that was about it. Nope, never had to throw a reserve.
So right. I do want to say we did have a friend and long-term fan and follower pass away Steve Clark with Clark's Video, passed away the other week. But what was cool is he had followed paramotoring for so long, and a month before he actually passed, Eric got him up on his first solo. And I thought that was just a beautiful thing that somebody before, leaving this earth got to do what they really wanted to do. So I do want to thank you, Eric, for doing that for Steve.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was, this has been a tough couple weeks.
Yeah, I bet.
I met Steve a year and a half ago, 2 years. I don't know when I met him, and came over to my shop that I have, and wanted to know everything about paramotors. And I said, you know what? I'll just bring, because where my business is about 40 miles north, and I said, I'll just bring up some gear and you can see it, try it on, do whatever. So I did that, and I went and I probably spent 2-3 hours with him just talking paramotor. And the guy has a passion for flying. And he just had, he was a working man, didn't have a lot of funds for equipment, but he slowly saved up his money, and he bought himself a wing, and he kited that wing for a year and a half. And finally, he was hanging around the hangar. He would always stop by, coming or going. And one day I just said, Steve, just come down here. I want to get you in the air. And so I worked with him for about 4 or 5 days, and got him flying. So it was good for him and good for me.
I know it's hard to talk about, but after his first flight, what was he like?
Very thankful. He absolutely loved it. He thought it was the best thing around. You can see a picture. He did falconry, and that's one of his falcons. So where do you take a falcon? You take it to the fly-in, and he brought that to our fly-in in Tomahawk.
I ate so many mice that day. Yeah.
Yeah. But he camped with that falcon, I think, the whole weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. Or his son
Brandon,
brought it
I
down.
thought. Yeah, Brandon might have brought him down.
Yeah. But that was him. And
That's me trying to steal it, wanting to hold it.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And when he found that falcon, we were coming back from Torchport in Michigan. We stopped at Big Boy, and we ate lunch all together. And then he basically said, see you later. I'm going to go find me a bird. And him and his sons went tromping through the woods.
I remember him talking about that on one of the shows, talking about getting a bird.
Yep. And he got his bird. He found it. And so I guess there's a lot of federal stuff you got to go through to get these things. And he had all the permits and everything. But he did find his bird. And I know that was something that was big to him, was the bird. The other thing was flying. So, but.
Justin's got a question, Eric.
Have you ever had to wear your wife's PPE?
It sounds like a personal question.
PPE. I don't know if I want to know the definition of a PPE.
Well, PPE is technically protective gear in the workplace, like safety goggles and earplugs and stuff like that.
Wow.
But if we want to make it dirty, I suppose we can do that.
I know exactly what he's referring to, because we were at Bad Apples and somebody showed up to Bad Apples, and I'm not going to mention Tim Francis' name, without a helmet. So, and I'm always there again, I'm always trying to help somebody out. So I loaned Tim my helmet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know where my other helmets were. I'm sure I might have loaned those. Who knows?
You bought some from Deweese, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are kiting helmets, but I
Oh.
had those two aviator helmets and headsets, and I don't even know where those were. And the only one that was laying around was Jade's, and it was all dolled up with glitter, and
Goo goo eyes.
I didn't care. I just, give me a helmet. I want to go fly. And of course, I put this helmet on. I turned around, and Mr. Photography is taking pictures. And yeah. So, yes, I have.
Well, Eric, if you're ever in a pinch and you need to borrow my flight suit, I'll be happy to loan it to you.
I've seen your
Yeah.
flight suit. We are just a little colder up here. I'm gonna need more covering. So
Oh.
Well, I've kind of got these pictures all screwed up, so give me a little moment here and let's go through some of the pictures that Eric's got here. You know, me and my Apple here. So this
Eric,
is
you're
out
not
at,
an Apple guy, are you?
I am.
Oh, I've lost a lot of respect for you. And somebody fix that man a highball.
That's actually down at our airport.
yeah, actually our hangar is right
Yeah.
behind the trailer. Right
Hey,
over here.
what wing do you foot launch with?
Mac Paracharger.
Nice.
Yep.
Absolutely love that wing.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that picture.
No, not necessarily.
His beard's dark in that one. How old is that?
5 years old.
Man, now I know why you married him. Whew.
Tell us about this.
Huh?
Tell us about this.
So I wanted a motorcycle after visiting my brother out in Nevada. He's like, hey, you want to go for a motorcycle ride? He had 2 Yamahas. I'm like, sure. So I get on this thing. I was like, how do you ride it? I didn't know. And he showed me kind of how to shift through the gears. And so I did and had fun and came back from Nevada. I'm like, man, I really enjoyed that. I want to get a motorcycle. So I went down to the Harley Davidson dealership and I was looking around and I'm like, wow, I really like that bike. And okay, well, I said, all right, well, I'm going to quickly, go get some money and I'll come back and get it. Well,
And how'd you get that money? You tell me the truth.
that's I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
So I went down, got some money, brought it back to the dealership, paid them, and they wouldn't let me drive it off the lot because I did not have a permit to drive the motorcycle off the lot. So I had to have somebody come and get the motorcycle and take it to my house, and took it to the house. And then I probably put 6 miles on it and then pulled it into the garage and I tore the bike down completely and I built that right there. So if anybody is watching this and knows Harleys, that's actually a 2013 Fat Boy Low, and that's what it looks like now. And the bags in the back are all amplifiers and speakers, and then there's speakers all on the front back wing and stuff like that. Oh, the back, that has a true dual exhaust, and the back exhaust are Gatling guns that turn when the exhaust is flowing.
Wow, so this is not only a chick magnet, but a dude magnet too.
It is.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, a lot of guys will look at it and, hey, that's pretty cool. And so the bike's
Kind of like paramotors.
Now the bike is in the garage and we insure it for the 3 days fall ride that we have here in Tomahawk, and then take the insurance back off. So,
Yep.
but I love the bike. it's something that I did, and I'm proud of that bike.
It's pretty.
This was flying with Dan down in Dubai. Our first winter flying.
Yeah. So we had a low ceiling that day.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, so I don't think we were totally legal, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Dan's a great guy. He lives about 30 miles south of us. He'll come up and he'll fly with us up here. And then he also works at EAA Oshkosh when the air show is going on. So that's the generation I grew up in right there. I had a horse and carriage. So that was back in, if my parents were watching, this is our trip that we made through Canada. And I have 4 brothers, 2 older, 2 younger. And my parents and all my brothers and I guess we rented a horse and buggy, or horse and covered wagon. That was it. And we traveled probably 6-8 hours on a path that was nothing but bumps. And we went out to the middle of nowhere. We camped for one night, and then we rode these things back. Now, let me tell you, back in the day when they only had covered wagons with no padded seats, man, they had it rough. But that was our trip. We slept in the back of the covered wagon. It was actually a lot of fun, but those were outfits that my mom made for my daughters. So,
it's not a historical fact that the reason why people enjoy big derrieres today is because of that reason. It was a survival technique. If you had a big butt, you could have a comfortable ride.
Yes. That was actually a lot of fun.
It's a historical fact.
Eric, and going back to the motorcycle in the chat, my mom is asking, can we borrow the Harleys as long as you aren't riding them anymore?
Absolutely not.
Okay, you're married to this man, had the inside scoop. Let's see some of the more scandalous photos. Come on.
That's all I got.
Oh, man. You are going to need those sunglasses because your future is looking bright. Yeah.
And he's called the Tin Man. We started out with his name as the Tin Man because he's a HVAC owner. What's this, Eric?
Good night.
So I raced off-road from about 2000 till 2015. And we would off-road, if anybody's seen, I don't know, like the Baja 1000 and stuff like that. We used to run circuit tracks, and we ran a professional series that ran from the UP of Michigan all the way down to Missouri. It was central United States. They also have a West Coast circuit. But that was actually right here in Crandon, Wisconsin. And that was after a race. That's how muddy we were. And yeah.
Sorry, they're all mixed up. This was the one at Outer Banks, the first time flying with a
going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we found those out there. We found those at a kite shop. So we still got them.
This was, I think, the day that we were learning or testing out for, was it PPG 3 with spot landings?
No, there's campers there. So that was probably
that was the fly-in. Yeah.
That was our local fly-in in Madison or South.
What type of trike do you fly, Eric?
So we fly trike buggies. Built and designed by Chad Bastian out in California.
Okay, yeah.
These are a bunch of our friends that I miss all of them. JP Tulo, DP, JP, DP, Mrs. DP, Cupcake Krista, Kat, Keith, if you haven't seen them. with my buddies. There's Eric. This was at an ultralight fly-in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun too.
And what's your foot launch frame, Eric?
Parajet Maverick.
Oh, I didn't know
And-
you fly a Mav.
Yep, with 185.
Oh my gosh, who is this?
That is the world famous Paramom USA.
This is when we went down to visit Aviator and we met Neil.
Yeah, Neil's a great guy. If anybody is working on equipment and has questions on, anything, I'm probably going to throw you under the bus here, Neil. If you have questions and they can't get answered, Neil is your guy. He is the go-to guy, and he's a plethora of information. Great guy. When I get stumped on something, I call him. He gives me the answers within seconds, and the problem's fixed.
So he works for Sky Sports USA?
No, he works for Aviator.
Yeah.
Scuba is asking, isn't Trike buggy hard to get into? Well, all three of us fly it, and I had my knee surgery, Scuba, and I don't know, after 3 months of having my new knee put in, I was able to get in it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, so the Trike buggy, of course, everything causes a little bit of conversation. And so the Trike buggy, I feel, is one of the safer. It's a little heavier, but it is one of the safer trikes out there. It kind of has the roll bars that go from kind of over your shoulders to your front wheel. So if you roll the trike, then what hits the ground is actually the roll bars and your hoop, and your head is very well protected. You have to think of safety. And I know that there's a lot of makeshift trikes out there that just have like a T-frame. If you roll that over, you're going to hit your head. I mean, I don't want to bring this up. Deweese, with her accident, her hands were outside on those roll bars, and that's why she got injured as severely as she did.
But I didn't get my head hurt.
But her head was still
My head.
perfectly safe.
Yeah, my head was safe.
Oh, look at this beautiful Trike buggy. And it has a flamingo on it.
Yeah.
During hunting season, they're aiming towards the flamingo.
No. Let's see. Get back to the other pictures. Hang on. This is kind of like Zoom. I have to go to different screens, and oh boy.
Oh yeah, Tony Marzano, he's got a Trike buggy too.
Yep.
Yeah, we sent a Trike buggy out to him, and
What's
he
this?
has one. That's the test flight in the Cherokee, and the guy sitting behind me is Sean. That's my flight instructor
And your PPG student.
and my PPG student.
And he's taken one flight also.
Yeah, he has. And then it got cold.
Yeah. Poof, gone. There's our lake runway. There's Eric every night. This is what the hangar looks like now.
Yeah, so I counted all the planes and helicopters. There's 18 of them, and they were shuffled between my house and
This is
they were in my shop. Up at my shop, the whole upstairs storage area was full of planes, and I had to take my trailer up and grab those. So my parents want me to put my a train going around the ceiling all the way around the hangar. So
Do you have a train?
yeah, so right now it's a G scale train, and G gauge is actually the bigger tracks.
Yeah.
And all the cars are made by a company called LGB. Actually, is no longer in business, but you see them in garden railways. People will run them outside in their gardens and stuff because they're weatherproof. And and they're actually a very well-built train, and that's what we're going to probably put up there. I have them right now in my offices at my shop, and and they go around my offices, but they go through the tunnels into a different office. And every time I turn them on, I'm getting yelled at by my secretary and telling me to turn them off because they're loud, because all you hear is the bells and the steam. And so she's okay with me taking them out of there.
Well,
So since like end of September, that ceiling was all rafters, and we insulated that. We put the metal ceiling in and just finished it up probably 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and those are infrared heaters. I have 2 of those infrared heaters in there. They keep it nice and cozy warm.
They
So
keep
they're
it
right-
hot and buttery.
Hot and
Yep.
buttery.
Yeah.
hot and buttery.
Our last project was the pink insulation foam panels, and I'm lathering up the pink insulation with paramotor stickers now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So this is opening the crate. That was an exciting day.
Oh, that was our tandem.
Yep. There's Paul and Eric putting it together.
Yep. So I got that from One Up Adventures down in Florida.
Tony's asking, what does Eric think about the Cosmos for a single person trike?
Well, if the power to weight ratio is what you need, then the Cosmos is definitely the way to go. I really enjoy ours. It's worked out very well. It's so far been very reliable. Never had an issue with it. So I mean, if that's what you need to fly, then make it work. For somebody that is under 200 pounds, I wouldn't recommend it. So, but if you're larger and need a bigger motor, then most definitely.
Got to foot launch that man.
Oh, we're out in Vegas now. Gene
Yep.
Lake.
Like that.
There's
I would
This
like
is-
to fly. I would like to fly out there. It looks so neat to fly out there.
if anybody
Yeah,
doesn't
that
know
was-
who Tony is, that's Tony and his brother. Sorry.
Yeah, that was out at the Gene Lake bed in Nevada. That was a good time. We found them this trike, sent it out there. They already had a engine on a frame, and they mounted it up. Did a good job mounting that up. And I think I took it for a test. Yeah, I took it for the test flight. Maybe I don't remember. But then, yeah, we got Tony in the air while we were out there, and his brother in the air. And I think his brother was in the air prior, but they had an engine out. But we think we have that all fixed. They have a Moster 185 that is fuel injected, but I think everything is perfect now.
Eric, so Planet Shane wants to know, what's Eric's fuel burn when solo on his trike wing combo? I'm assuming the tandem.
So on the tandem machine, I don't rate it gallons per hour. I rate it per hours per gallon. I mean, the thing is a fuel hog. So they tell you to lean out the high side a little bit. The only problem is in the colder climates that we fly in, I don't want to lean it out anymore. So I run mine, the factory setting. But if you're down south, you can lean out the high needle. The fuel burn is not good. Probably a gallon to a gallon and a half. Well, no, not. That's pulling a tandem though, for like 40 minutes. So it does suck a little fuel. I don't fly it much by myself. I was, but now I usually, if I'm going to go flying, I'll take my trike or my foot launch.
Yeah, and Tony said that I got to fly that Trike also, and I thank you for allowing me to do that and trusting me to fly out there, because that was another one of the states I got to mark off that, and it was pretty cool out there.
Yeah.
So thank you guys.
That's the day we met Mad Sloper out there, and
Yep. This was, I think, our first tandem flight together.
and she lived.
Yeah. This was down at Bad Apples. And that's close enough to me. That's Eric. That was flying back from the, what was it, the quarry at Bad Apples?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No tip touching.
Yeah, because I'll start screaming. This is, I grabbed a bunch of people that got to fly with Eric. This one was at Torchport in Michigan. Fabrizio from,
Oh, that was at Bad Apples.
yeah, yep. This was the local little touch truck, it was called, and letting people in Tomahawk here. It was a fundraiser for a children's park, and we were letting people. Dewey, you were there with Randy.
Oh, yeah.
And letting people try on the gear. There's Eric and Linda meeting for the first time. Eric's giving Linda one of the little paramotor guys.
I'm afraid to meet her for the first time.
Hmm. There's the tandem. And this is one of our current students right now, which I think this is Haley, Eric.
That's Haley. She's actually in her. This is going to be her last year going to school in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and she's going to be an A&P mechanic.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I think I met her.
Her goal is she wants to move to Florida where it's warm.
Smart girl. It's cold up there in Wisconsin.
This was at EAA in the
Those
museum.
those are all my paramotor props.
Yeah.
Broken props.
Here, that's it. That's all I got. Sorry.
I see Randy back there.
All right, now let's see the personal ones. Pull up your cell phone.
Yeah.
Come
We
on.
don't have any lately.
Well,
All right.
ever since school, having the school and keeping busy with flying and everything else that I do, I haven't been able to post much and be on social media at all.
Modesty. We all don't have it, but you do, Eric. That's what sets you apart.
So Tony says he wants to see Eric jump with Montana. No.
I don't think I have any desire to jump out of a flying airplane. That just doesn't. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with just staying inside of a perfectly good airplane.
No. Have you ever experienced free fall, Deweese? It's awesome.
No, and no intentions of it. Randy did. He said he fell off a ladder. He broke his arm. So that free fall didn't work out too well.
But at least he experienced free flight.
Yeah, but he wasn't going terminal velocity. And if he was,
It was
he wouldn't
pretty
be telling you
terrible.
about it.
It ended up on the ground.
So Travis said, going back to the Cosmos, he said that he uses less fuel now that he leaned it out some.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of people are saying that. I just can't. We live in such a cold climate. I need to have a rich mixture in the wintertime, and I'm not going to sit there and adjust it out and adjust it in, adjust it out. It runs fine. It's a little fat in the summertime, but that's okay.
You have any wings that you're eyeballing, Eric?
No, we probably have, I think, 8 wings that we have right now through the school and ours. And I tell you what, and Steve that passed away, he has he has a wing, and it's actually sitting in my hangar right now. And it's a Gin Falcon, very lightweight. And we just had such a hard time with that wing. The second I gave him the charger, man, he got that thing up and he was kiting that wing perfectly good. And all the way down the runway, he was doing power taxis, and it's such a stable wing. I absolutely love that wing. We were trained on that wing, and I honestly don't think I'll ever outfly that wing. And if I did, I would probably get maybe a Colorado, or maybe the Charger 2. So I like what I have. We have in our, we got some BGDs. Jade has her ozone. I flew that, and that was fun. So, but yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I just bought a new wing, and it's the same exact one as I got now.
Just different sizes, and that's yeah. You fly what you're comfortable with. There's nobody to impress but yourself.
I mean, if you ever meet Tom from Parajet, he still flies like a Revo from years ago because that's what he likes and that's what he's used to.
Yep, absolutely.
So do you have any inkling of what fly-ins we're planning on going to this coming year?
Well, I'm definitely going to be going to the Tomahawk fly-in.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's birthday weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to Oshkosh. And
when are you coming to Nebraska?
I don't know. We just might show up. So when we go to Oshkosh, we actually work there. We volunteer our time, and we work in the ultralight field in the tower. That was a lot of fun. So, because I mean, there's so much to do. But we will be there.
There's Dan.
Yeah, there's Dan. Torchport will be at Torchport. Definitely wouldn't miss that. That is a blast. And then there's some other ones over in Michigan I wouldn't mind going to. I just don't know. There's one over by Torchport, kind of a little bit more west. But as far as the bigger ones, I don't know. It's such a long drive for us. And now, with having, I would rather train my student. I have so much fun training. A lot of people said, hey, you're going to lose interest in flying paramotor if you start training. I don't think I've flown this much. I have flown more now than I have ever. And, because when you fly, you got to make sure the air's clean before you send a student up. And then when they land, they're happy and excited and they go home, because we do on a solo. So what we're taught is on a solo, you do the solo and then you send them home, because you don't want to do another flight because it's too much going on in their mind. So you send them home. Well, of course, the weather is always nice because you just had them do it. So what do? You put on your gear and you go and take off and you have fun. But I just love teaching. I love teaching students. I can't wait to get the family that I have done so we can all fly together. There's a bucket list thing. I can't wait to get them all flying. So.
And MJH PPG says we'd like to see you all at Endless. Yes, I know. It's like.
Yep. Yeah,
that's right after school starts, though, isn't it?
Yeah, like a week. So I'm going to have to figure out how to ask off a week after school starts.
Yeah, I would like to go to Endless Foot Drag. That would be something that I would go to. Most definitely.
Tony appreciates you saying you got a knack for teaching.
Well, thank you, Tony.
And I'm glad that you finally did it, because you're so much different than so many other people. And the fact that, I joke about things like modesty and stuff with you and whatnot, but you are so BS. You're just helpful or informative. You like what you do. You don't need to be flashy. And, so many people have different learning styles too. And so they need different teachers, or certain people can just teach many different personalities. And your kind of style, I respect a lot just from your attitude towards this, that I think it's really beneficial that you're around, just because I've seen so many different personalities and whatnot. And I think there's a certain type that would really gravitate towards you, where it's really simple and focused on just paramotors and being successful with it. Like, that just seems what your end goal is just being safe and successful, and being really easy with the students. And yeah, I'm really glad that you're teaching.
Well, thank you. No, that is my end goal is just to see people flying, living that dream. I think now even more with losing Steve, it's been really hard. And seeing the joy that he had really opened my eyes to a lot of things. So I just want to see people live their dreams, be successful at what they're doing.
Angela wants to know if the girls are interested now.
My little one, I take up all the time, and she loves it. But of course, we do it for instructional purposes. Got to throw that one in there. But I'll take off, and all of a sudden we'll do a spiral, and I'll start screaming and back, and she just sits in the front giggling. She's 12, so I think she would do it. She was kiting with
Sean Nafsker. No. Nick LeBluff.
Yeah, Nick LeBuff out of Bad Apples, and she was enjoying that. So I think she would have, but the biggest thing is just figuring out the mental capacity of a student, making sure that the mental capacity is there. So I think she's real young right now. So I have no problem putting a wing in her hand and letting her kite the wing. And I would have no problem letting her drive the trike, but I'm not going to put them both together. It's not there yet.
You talk about mental capacity, just look at me. Anything's possible.
And you've done just fine.
So while I got you, what do you think is the weirdest, or the thing that really annoys you the most about Jade?
Oh,
that she will take off and fly the pattern and reland, while I am.
Steve has left.
While I am already across and cruising the little waterways that we have. When I say waterways, it's not like I'm flying over the ocean. It's I'll fly along the sandbars. So, and the thing is I know she hasn't done this yet, and it's just unbelievable what you see. I love doing it. I don't get tired of doing it.
I'm getting better. I've been doing wingovers, and in Montana actually has Scuba, you should talk. He's telling me to stay in the air. Scuba, get in the air. I've got my wingovers, and I'm past the horizon. So, but after I witnessed something recently and having a couple goofy wind takeoffs, crosswind takeoffs, I kind of went backwards again. So I'm just being cautious.
Well,
I just about ate dirt yesterday myself.
Just getting the bump
came about 2 inches from the ground, foot dragging. And I was like, I need to stop screwing around.
All right.
Just bump tolerance, is that what it is?
Yeah, well, bump tolerance, the biggest thing that there again, everything reverts back to how we were taught. And you always have your instructor. I still have my instructor in my ear. But, he's like, hey, if it's getting bumpy, how do you fix that? Well, you start turning. And if you will eliminate that the bumps. So you just start turning, and then you don't feel them. So if it's getting a little bumpy, and I'll even start turning. I'm at the point where I giggle when I feel the bumps because it's kind of fun, and I do enjoy that. But there's been times where I've been in the air where I'm fine flying. It's like, man, now I got to get this thing down, and I don't want to have to. I guess everybody's biggest fear is when you're coming into land and all of a sudden you lose lift.
Yeah.
So you really have to pay attention to the wind.
Anybody got any other questions? Anybody want to join in? I put the code out there if you guys want to come in and chat a little bit. I do have one more shirt that I want to show. This is really cool for the girls.
I'm going to show off my shirt. Wait, can
Oh,
I do a
stop.
solo layout? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Look
come
at
on.
that. It's freaking beautiful. Nirvana. Ooh, I'm a weird looking guy. I'll tell you that.
Just saying. Okay. So this is the other shirt that I had designed, and I'm sure you've seen this similar in the past. Just Want to Fly. And it's paramotorgirl.com, and check the back out, girls.
Fly like a girl. Oh, that's cool.
And the sleeve says pilot.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
working on more. It's really comfy. So yeah.
Man, I did a heck of a glamour video for you this week.
I know.
Like, you're not going to get any better than that. A man wearing that stuff, flying around at a beach.
I saw
Right.
that one. Yes, I saw that one.
I did that for you, Jade.
Ah.
No,
I'll
I
have
didn't.
to
That's a total lie.
Tony says he wants a hat that says "Send it" with a prop.
Oh yeah. I'll be making more colors on there too. So yeah. And that's sorry.
I want to add one thing for everybody doing the paramotoring. So part of with the general aviation is your ground school. The one thing that I can tell everybody here that is not a general aviation pilot, you should go and look at any of these ground school, online ground schools, like Sporties has them. Who's some other ones? Gleam or Glime, they have one. A lot of ground schools that are out there. If you would just sign up for that, they're cheap. There is so much information to learn that I guarantee you your instructor didn't go over with you, because it goes into depth on everything from airspace to weather to just basic knowledge of lift and drag and everything else. And I know a lot of it would have to do with general aviation, but a lot of it you can take and use it in the paramotoring. That will be definitely more helpful than anything you've learned so far. And it's just it will save your hide. It really will, because there's things with airspace and weather that I have learned so much on that I think everybody should learn it, only because it's not so you know the rules, it's so to keep you safe. So
Yep. And Dan is saying the same thing. Yes. Online ground schools are pretty awesome, especially on weather.
Yep.
Yeah, I need a refresher course on all sorts of stuff. Like, there's things I've learned, and I'm like questioning whether it's weather, airspace, or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember that anymore. But I always fly with people smarter than me, so I rely on them.
Now that's one thing you can do, but also they teach it in such a way that you memorize it. I mean, you memorize, all the airspace, and once you learn it, you're really not going to forget it. But the way they teach it, and I do the Sporties online ground school, and man, I have airspace down, simple. So they just teach it in a great way. So it's definitely something to look into. And there again, it's cheap. It's cheap,
Hey, look, I may be shallow, but I ain't cheap.
right? So
Sounds good.
No, Linda, sorry, no spinny wheel tonight.
What?
So next week we've got. Sorry.
You know, we actually do
I
need
forgot
a spinny wheel. We don't need a name
A
change
real
one
one?
like we've been doing. We need a spinny wheel because people love the anticipation. Oh, I'm sorry, that's pronounced anticipation.
Anticipation.
Yeah.
Next week. The reason I had to grab Eric was he was scheduled for the 21st, but I had said last week on the show that Winging It Woody was going to be our guest tonight, but he was out of town for work, and he also talked his girlfriend into coming on, and he would like to do it while she's with him because she's kind of nervous about being on. So I said, heck yeah, I'll take you anytime. That's convenient for the both of them. So that's why Winging It Woody is not on tonight. So next week, Martin Henderson is on. Eric and I met him down at the Fright Fest down at Teresa Mixer's fly-in that they had down in middle of Illinois. And he is also what did they call him out there? I know in Moonshiners, they called them air dicks. What do they call?
Air marshals.
Air marshal.
Air boss.
I don't want to call Henderson an air dick.
Oh, Martin's going to be on?
Yes.
Oh, man. Martin's a hoot.
So he is planning on talking a lot about fly-ins.
No,
and
he's not, because I'm going to
safety.
harass the crap out of him.
No, he is.
I've spent some time with Martin.
He wants to get it out there with fly-ins and what is the proper way of flying at fly-ins, especially with new people and advanced people. So he wants it to make it a safety show. So hope you can join us for that one. He's gonna be a good guest also.
I'm going to get hammered on that show big time.
Oh, we thought you were already hammered.
Yeah, kind of.
So, yeah, and if anybody is considering sharing their story, please let one of us know. We would love to have you on.
We
Bill
got
H.
Tori
I'm
Pope
not saying any
coming up.
names.
We got one of the best beards in the PPG world on.
Let's see, 21st. I also have Stay Bad that just confirmed.
Ooh,
So
I can't handle this.
You got
I'm
to
gonna,
behave
I'm
yourself.
gonna lose my marbles.
You're going to have to behave yourself that night.
Pennsylvania PPG.
No, Daniello is like West Coast Steve.
I know.
And then January 4th, starting out the new year, we're going to bring Aurora PPG on, and she wants to talk about what her mission is with Aurora PPG.
Okay.
So Tori Pope is in the middle of January. So he was on tonight checking us out to see what we were all about, I'm sure. So don't scare him away, Hot Buttered Steve.
Tori's been watching. I've seen him in the chat the last couple episodes.
Oh. All right. So way past our bedtime, but if anybody would like to join in on the non-live portion,
After
show for a little bit, you're more than welcome to. We can fit a couple in here, probably 7 we could bring in. If you guys want to talk to Eric off the recorded portion. Speaking of that, also we are on Spotify and Anchor.fm. So if you missed a show tonight, you can either rewatch it here or you can watch it, or actually, yes, you can watch it because I've been doing the video portions of the podcast on Spotify and Anchor FM. So
How are they going to know if they missed it if they're not watching it now?
Can you put the link in for the after show again?
Sure. Right there. Coming up.
There you
All
go.
right. But everybody, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. And I'm glad to get Eric back on the show. Is there anything else you want to go over, Eric? Any other questions that Steve or Deweese? Let's just keep our attitudes positive and let's
Yeah,
be
Jade.
friendly to everybody. Mhm.
Get your stuff
Let's
together.
let's be friendly to everyone and remember that we're all
Screw you,
family in
Jade.
this sport. Shut the HE double hockey stick up. We're all friends in
Hey.
this sport.
Hey, if we don't see you on there, we'll see you in there.
We love you guys, all of you.
Yes, we do. And fly safe. Have a good night, guys. See you next week.